She didn't run. She folded the star cloth over her shoulders and said, "I do." While the night hissed like a jealous crowd, Myra expected silence after the vow. Instead, the map warmed against her skin. Lines inked in silver shifted. A whisper rose from the cloth, thin as breath. "Lead me." Her heart stumbled. Weren't maps supposed to guide you? She looked up. The constellations glittered as if staring back, cold and sharp. Old stories said they hated change. Old stories said they kept people lost on purpose. So the sky stayed in charge. She had married the star map of Blackwater Ridge to stay unlost. That was the only reason. Ships vanished in their town. Trails moved when no one watched them. People forgot names of streets, then forgot faces, then forgot love. The map was the last sure thing. It was a legend sewn from comet silk and bone thread. It always knew. It never lied. "Lead me," it whispered again. "You're the map," she murmured. "You lead." The cloth tightened, gentle but firm like hands at her back. It tugged toward the ridge. She followed because fear felt smaller than standing still. Wind combed her hair. Below, lanterns on the docks blinked out, one by one, as if the sea shut its eyes. Her mother's warning echoed. Never step between a star and its name. Never rename a star. Do not turn the star map toward your heart. She had broken the third rule by marrying it. The path up the ridge did not stay put. Stones rolled. Grass lines curved. The sky swam. Yet the map glowed steady, a pale river across her shoulders. She held it with both hands and breathed through the pull. Each breath smelled like frost and old paper. Each step felt chosen. Behind her came a scrape, then another. She turned. A group of lights slid down from the sky. Not stars, shapes, hunters of the constellations. Their bodies were patterns she knew from childhood stories, the archer, the net, the Wolf's jaw, but they moved. They weren't pinned to the dark. They were falling. Why are they here? She asked. The map's voice was close to her ear. They think I stole you. I chose, she said. But the words were small. The first shape hit the ground with a hiss like rain on metal. The archer stood, made of dots and lines, empty inside, yet heavy enough to crack the earth. He knocked a bolt of moonlight. "Return the cloth," he said without mouth or breath. "The sky does not share its servants?" "I'm not a servant," Myra said. "You were," said the net, unraveling and re-knotting before her eyes. "You learned our names. You kept our stories. Now you break the balance." The map tugged harder. "Lead me," it insisted. Down the ridge. To the singing cave. Her chest went tight. The cave was a forbidden place. People said it hummed with a lost star. People said it sang you into sleep and wrote new names on your bones. "Why there?" She whispered. "Because that is where I was born," the map said. "And where I can be changed." Arrows of light cut the air. Myra ran. The map flared, bright as a split sunrise, and the bolts bent away. She skidded on loose grit. The archer chased, patient as winter. The Wolf's jaw loped beside the trail, jaws opening and closing with a click of distant thunder. "You said you never lie?" She said to the map. "I said I always know," it replied. "Knowing is not the same as leading." They reached the mouth of the cave. Cold air flowed out, humming in her bones, spelling her name in a tune she tried not to hear. The net stretched across the entrance. "No further," it said. "This path is forbidden." The map whispered, "There is a rule older than theirs. A rule the sky fears." "What rule?" "That the one who chooses the road becomes the road." Myra swallowed. "I don't understand." "You will," it said. "But you must say my name." "I thought you were a map, not a person. Names decide what things are." Behind her, the archer drew again. The Wolf's jaw crouched to spring. The net tightened. The night held its breath. Myra did not know the map's true name. She had called it map, silk, guide, husband, in a whisper to make herself brave. None felt right. She closed her eyes and listened to the cave. The song under the world had a pattern. The pattern had a gap, shaped like a missing word. She saw a memory, her father lost at sea. calling to a light that kept moving just out of reach. She saw herself small, drawing a line from dock to horizon and naming it home. The gap in the pattern took her line like a key. She opened her eyes. Your name is Way. The map went still. Then it breathed in, or she did, or the cave did. And the word burned across the cloth. W-I. The letters ran like water until they weren't letters anymore. Just a path drawing itself forward. The net sagged. The archer faltered. Old law, murmured the map, no way. When the path is named, the sky must move aside. They slipped through the loosened net. The cave swallowed them. Dark, wet stone. Stars like grains of salt caught in damp rock. At the midpoint of the tunnel, Way shivered. The twist comes now, it said, almost shy. I asked you to lead because I am tired of choosing. I am not your guide. You are mine. Myra's breath fogged. What do you want me to lead you to? Silence, then out. A wind blew forward from deeper in the cave, not pulling but pushing as if some giant breathed them away. She tasted ash. Ahead, a chamber opened, filled with a pale sphere. Not a rock. Not a star. A seed of sky, pulsing like a slow heart. Way trembled. That is me before I was sown? If you touch it, I will unmake. The sky will lose its lines. People will no longer be guided by stories drawn above them. They will choose. They will get lost. They will learn new names. And if I don't, I go back on your shoulders. The constellations keep you in their cage. Your town keeps forgetting. Your father's light keeps drifting. Her hands shook. She could feel the archer at the cave mouth, the Wolf's jaw's breath, the net's thin patience. She could feel her mother's warning like a hand on her wrist. Never turn the star map toward your heart. Myra pressed the cloth to her chest. Outside, the constellations howled. The cave sang louder, louder until stones chimed. Choose, Way whispered. Lead me. She reached toward the starseed. Heat licked her fingers. The sphere opened like an eye. A voice, not Way's, rose from the light. It sounded like her father, Myra. You're late. Her knees buckled. Papa? The archer's shadow fell across the chamber. The Wolf's jaw leaped. Myra put her hand into the light. Something grabbed her from the other side and pulled. The cave snapped like a drum. The lines in the sky broke and fell like rain. Way screamed. Or sang. Or both. And then dark, weightless. A second sky opening within the first, full of roads no one had named yet. A warm hand found hers in the dark. You lead, said the voice in the light. I'll follow. Myra took a breath that felt like the first one she'd ever earned and stepped into a place where constellations had to chase her. Want the next step she takes? Hit follow so you don't miss part 2.